guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Geeky Crossing here, and today we have another villager garden ideas video, and today's villager, as you will have seen in the title, is Beau. So I actually managed to get to visit him on his birthday, one of the days that I was filming this, in the way that it worked out with my time traveling. So the lovely Dobie was here visiting, which I thought was super cute because I love them together. Like, I totally ship Dobie and Beau. So yeah, so I'll go through 5 different style designs, and please comment down below which ones you like and if there's any villages you'd like to see me do next. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Okay, so to start off, we're just gonna get the Island Designer app open and start off with some wooden paths. So I'm just using the in-game path here to start out with, and just blocking off an area to the top left. So I actually made this before the new update was revealed with the extra custom design slots. Otherwise, I would have utilized much more custom designs in these videos. So from now on, expect to see many more designs in my videos, hopefully, where we are doing villager garden ideas. So yeah, I'm just going to continue off blocking off some areas with this wooden path, and I've added in some dark wood bookshelves up at the back, on the left, and a swinging bench here. And I'm just looking at adding in some other wooden and sort of log items. So that was the sewing kit on top of the mush log. And then I'm going back over to the left and looking at what seating I can add in. So I really like the throwback mitt chairs, and I feel like they suit quite a lot of different styles depending on the colour and how you use them. And then I've got a couple of plants, some stacks of books, and the grandfather clock, and then the succulent on the log stool. I really like the succulent as a plant, and I think it looks super cute, and it just looks really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it like rural? It's like, it just looks like it's been put, like it's something you would find like on a put together island. So I think it looks really good. So I wanted to use a lot of plants here because I wanted it to be quite sort of naturey and have lots of foliage in. So I'm just going to go in with this ironwood low table here next to the log chair, and I've put a sewing project on top of that to fill it out nicely. And then I'm just going to change this area up at the back, and I'm going to use the in-game pathway of the light dirt at the back, and then I'm going to put a clothesline in. I like using the light dirt or sand or something underneath the clothesline because I think it looks really cute and it works well, and you wouldn't really have clothes drying on top of wood because, you know, it'll make the wood wear out sooner. And then I've used I think it's the rattan towel basket and the birdhouse as well on the right side, and I'm just doing a little bit of terraforming to get a shape that I like around the edges, to make it look more natural and to curve off the corners. Okay, I quite like the way that that's looking, so I'm going to add in a little bit of water over here to the right, and I'm going to make this sort of entrance to the Beau's house a bit more extravagant, you know, a bit more eye-catching. So I'm just, as you can see, just adding in water on both sides, and Beau's coming, investigating, seeing how I'm getting on. Beau was quite nosy while I was doing this. He kept getting in the way. I did have to push him a couple of times, and I did feel very bad, and it was only like a little bit of pushing, so it's okay. So I added in some pathways so I could be sure where I wanted the water to be and things like that, see if I wanted to change it. And I just used this custom design. You can find this one in my custom designs video that I did for my just after my island tour. It's the second video on my page, and I'll link it in this video as well. So if you want to see any of the custom designs, you can find them in there, and any that aren't in that I either couldn't find, and any that I get specifically for this video, like, I'll tell you and I will add them in the video so you don't have to go and find a different video for them. So yeah, I'm just having a look to see if I can put this campfire in as well, just to make it look a bit more natural, like he's built, like he's got everything he needs in his little area. And then that's the mom's plushie on top of a barrel, and then I'm just using some orange plants and yellow ones. And now I feel like I've filled it out enough, and I was really happy with it, so I will go ahead and show you guys some photos. Okay, so into the second idea now. So we're just going to round off these corners to begin with. And then we're just going to do a little bit more terraforming for the entranceway. And then, hello Mary, always making an appearance in these videos. I'm going to be really sad when I have to get rid of Mary to get someone else in. So I'm just going to start by adding in some water at the back right over here. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of these wooden planks in. And then this fishing rod stand over here to make a little fishing area for Beau. So I'm going to add in some appropriate items like a barrel and a mom's plushie to fit in with the colour scheme. And a little puddle over here next to the water, but I didn't really like that. So I went in and was trying to map out an area to put a well into. And here I was thinking the well was going to fit perfectly in here, but it does not. So I had to expand it a little bit and hope that you wouldn't see how off it actually is from looking centered in this. I really struggled with this, getting it to look right. So then I'm going to go in and use a version of the path. So you can see me fumbling around with this. Now, I'm not the best at using this. I should probably use it a lot more. But I've honestly got my custom designs organized like so badly because I didn't know what I was doing when I first played this game, and I just kind of played it like a maniac and everything went everywhere and it made no sense. So I find it quite a pain trying to use the path and find all the right pieces. So I should probably go through my custom designs and just reorganize it properly. Do you know what? There's something I can do when I've got a minute. I'll go and reorganize my custom designs, especially now that we have more slots. That's a good idea. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna just play around with this, and yeah, you can see it's taking me ages to find all the right pieces. So okay, this video's been a wake-up call. I need to sort my custom designs out. I hate it when that happens when you're using the designs and you put the wrong one over an area and then you've got to go back and find that bit again and switch back over. I know it doesn't seem like that much of a big deal, but it is time consuming. And I'm all about efficiency, and honestly in this game I'm not hugely efficient and I need to get more efficient. So I was quite pleased with how this path was coming out. I've done it a few times where it's just looked really bad, but I was quite pleased with this one. I know the Mario pipe doesn't fit in at all, but it's so useful for getting around my island now that I depend on it so much when I remember it's actually there. Okay, so once I had the path mapped out, I went in with some custom designs, totally messed up a corner of the path immediately, but finished adding in the ground cover for the rest of the area. So because of what I've done over to the right already, there's not a huge area on the left. So if you've got a big area and you're ever not sure how to fill it, you can fill a lot of space with a pathway. You'd have a tree in the middle of the pathway and break it up and have the path go around both sides, or you could have it go round items, so you can have it really interactive with terraforming or the other items on your island. So if you've got a big space for a villager and you're a bit scared on how to fill it, start off by just putting down the pathways and working out kind of the flow of the area and how you can maybe split things up so it's not so daunting, and how you can like separate the areas a little bit. So I'm going to go up here to the left, and I started off by adding in a tree over here, and then I got stung by wasps, which was not good. So I just wanted the stump of the tree. So I put a bird cage as well, and then I was having a little look to see what I could place on the tree stump and around it. So I put some wood back down, and then I went around and added in some flowers to bring some colour and some different heights into kind of the entrance of the garden. And then I changed that to a fresh apple tree, literally just so you could see it in the video, so I didn't have to time travel to do it. And then I'm just going to go up and finish off the water up here by just making it look a bit more continuous and linking it up so it doesn't just look like it appears out of nowhere. And then I'm just going to add in some leaf piles because I think they're really cute. So I used like the normal leaf pile, the yellow one, and the red one. And then I'm just going to put some different like little bits of fencing around just to kind of, for when I'm taking photos, to flesh it out just a little bit. Obviously if this was just your island, you'd probably have these areas properly decorated, but for me I just throw some items just to fill out the photos a little bit. So I'm just doing the same thing over here, just adding in some fences and different things like that, and putting in a few other items. just so there's some different heights. I love this big bear. I rarely use it because it's so huge, but I do really like the giant teddy bear. And the butter churn, what a cute item. I'm so looking forward to doing some different designs with the Sanrio villages. I cannot wait. I feel like I'm going to really try not to, but I feel like I'm going to end up talking about the Sanrio too much in my videos now that it's come out. So yeah, I've put in the log chair, a mush log, and a sewing project on top of the log as well over there. Just to kind of create some different areas and some different seating areas and some different photo opportunities as well. So I'm just working out where I want these little stools and kind of seating bits to be over here. So I used a tea set and a simple kettle in yellow, and then put in some flowers and a mum cushion, and planted some more flowers over to the far left, just so when they're peeking out it's not just flat grass. And then I just added in a couple of little custom designs up here to kind of make that area seem more apparent, and then I linked that by carrying on with the same path down here away from the version of the path that I used. So I'm just going in and just kind of making sure the areas are kind of filled up, dropping some mushrooms and stuff, because they don't count to your dropped items on your island. If you're trying to get like a 5-star or a 3-star rating, they don't count because they can spawn naturally. So anything that can spawn naturally on your island, like shells or star fragments, none of that counts, so you don't have to worry. So I am finished with this design now. This is quite a busy one, so I'm going to go ahead and take some photos. How cute those skinny mushrooms look in the back. I really like that. So yeah, I'll show you guys some photos, and you can have some peace and quiet for a second. And I hope you really like this design. I had lots of fun building it. Okay, so we'll move on to the third idea now, and I'm going to keep the path that I had from the previous one still in this one, and I'm going to go with a farm idea here. So I'm just doing what I usually do and what a lot of other people do by just using the 2 variations of the dirt path in the game here for the farm, and then I'm just adding in some custom designs around the border for where I place fences or other surrounding items. So I'm just going to go in with some of the barbed wire fencing, and then I'm just going to add in some of the cottage fencing as well, because I quite like using a mix. I think like a lot of other people, I just think it adds a bit more variety and makes the design just a little bit more interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and plant some things in the farm. Again, I wanted to keep it quite warm coloured to fit in with Beau. So I'm going to add in a butter churn to the left and a scarecrow. I quite like adding in the scarecrows to the middle of the farm because it breaks up the heights, because quite often when you do a farm, a lot of it tends to be the same height, so it can be sometimes a little bit challenging to find the right items depending on the type of farm that you're doing, which are going to bring in a bit more kind of variety into the farm. I'm not saying that you need to have variety, but sometimes it can just make it a bit more interesting, or that'll fit the aesthetic that you're going for. So I just more mean for that. So I'm just going to use the light dirt path up here, round it off at the corners, just because I wanted to place a couple of things up here. So I wanted the silo there, because I think the silos look really cute with farms. So I just went with the white one, and then I put the like orange yellow hyacinth lamps in, and I used them as well as the mum's candles in this. And then as you can see to the bottom right, I also used a yellow handcart and the garden faucet as well. And then up at the top left, I'm going to go in with a well, some barbed wire fencing, and a little puddle with a decoy duck in. I always like adding in puddles near the like water sources, like maybe like the faucet, or even just like a pond or a well or something. I think that works quite well. And then I'm just using one of the butterfly models on top of a barrel and having a look at what other items I can place in front of that. I tried to have a look at using the white garden wagon to tie in with the silo over on the right. And then I had a look at putting like the light coloured sort of wedding bench in front of that. And then I kind of wanted to change the shape of this area a little bit because you weren't able to see properly the stuff that I was doing at the back left. So I just did a bit more terraforming to give myself a bit more space to work with. So I'm just going to go in with a couple more white items to kind of give the build just a little bit more continuity. And then I wanted to bring that garden wagon a bit more forward so you could really pick up the colours in it rather than it just being hidden behind the wedding bench. And then I'm using the white mush lamp just to continue that colour scheme as well. So I'm just going to go in with some more ground coverage here. And there are loads of different options for like little flowers and things. And I do want to do some videos of like different custom designs. So if there's anything that you guys like would like to see like for certain themes or anything like that, like just drop a comment and let me know, and I'd be happy to like do what you guys would like to see. I think I might do something for the Sanrio update. So if you guys want to see that, let me know, because I would really like to do that. Okay, so I brought that wedding bench a bit more forward and added in a couple of things behind it. And then I added in the wooden block bookshelf with a mum's candle set on top of that. And then I'm just using the in-game dirt path to link the areas up together. I also used that kind of star custom design because this one was coming out a bit more like fairy core with the white coming through and the kind of like mush parasols and things like that. So I went in with some white hyacinths as well, and the star custom design, you can find that in my custom code video as well. I used 2 variations of that, but I'm sure there'd be loads more if you looked in the portal and stuff. So I'm just adding in some different flowers and more mushrooms into the farm. And I'm also using the spooky towers turned round, which I do in almost all of the farms that I do that involve pumpkins, to be honest. And then I'm just having a look through the rest of my items and adding in some different things that are going to work well in contrast with the heights around them. So I've used the bird cage and the mush lamp. There was a lot of orange, so I kept trying to bring that back by adding in the white as I went along. So it's all about kind of like just playing around and just doing whatever you think looks nice. Because it's your island, you know, design it for you. I really like adding in different garden gnomes that fit in. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you guys some photos. I really like this one because I just adore any builds that involve farms. So I hope you guys like this one as much as I do. So yeah, enjoy! Okay, so we'll move on to the next design now. So I've cleared away the path, and this time we're going to go kidcore. So I used this custom path that I've got, and I will show this to you guys. And I'm just going in with this to create a design. There are 3 different variations of this that I've got to kind of break up the path a little bit. So once I've got kind of a base path for where you would walk into the place, I'm just going to go in with my usual ground coverage as always. So I just do a mix of like little flowers and clovers. These are the only 2 that I have for like basic ground coverage. I have some like little stars that you saw last time that I'll use for like different styles and a couple of other things, but most of the time it's just these 2. So I'm also going to use this little path. The person that made it didn't have any other variations, so I just used this one, and then I used the futon in front of the brown kids tent. And I just worked out the little area where this is going to work well. And then I'm going in with another kids tent and making a hammock. I customized the hammock with the same path that I used so it would tie in. So I wanted this one to be like kind of playing a bit more on Beau's lazy personality side, and you know how you could use him in some different styled islands and stuff. So here I'm just going to use some of the lattice fencing with a swing bench behind it, and I wanted to leave a space because the colours were clashing quite a bit because they were so similar, so I just went in with some flowers behind it. So, and I blocked that off with custom design so they couldn't grow any further. And I just used orange and yellow to tie in with Beau, and I think they would work well for a kid core anyway, but obviously you can use anything you want, and you can use these items in, you know, brighter colors, but I wanted to keep it kind of like natural kid core, just so it wasn't too bright, because I did imagine it being really peaceful and, you know, lazy. So yeah, I used the I think it's the ironwood cart next to the swinging bench with the rattan towel basket on top of it as well. And then here I'm just doing the campfire cookware with the stone path underneath. I do need to get some kind of nicer stone custom designs. I think I need to totally redo my custom designs, because I think a lot of them, like, I just keep thinking of better versions and seeing better versions and stuff, so I'm gonna redo that. So yeah, I'm just going in with some more plants and flowers and things, just to kind of, again, add some different heights and to keep it quite natural. And then I'm adding in items like the throwback miniature and the baby bear, just to keep it on that sort of natural kid core style. So I'm also going to add in a little barrel behind the bear with a classic picture on top, because it worked well with the colour scheme. And then I'm using the bird cage in the sort of brown, again just because it ties in, as well as the wooden bucket. I do like these low tables. I think they look really good, and they're really good at adding in a lot of height difference, and I think they work well in a lot of builds. So I went in and added in a little tree and a chair with the same custom code as the path again, and then the artisanal bug crate. I don't use this very often. I find it quite difficult to use because you can't place items on top of it and it's quite bulky, but I do really like the items, so I try and add it in, but I struggle to really make it kind of tie in very well, I guess. So I'm going to add in a little clothesline here, again, and just kind of made it just the natural one. And then a couple of other chairs. I like mixing up the chairs rather than keeping them all the same. Not for everything. I think in a lot more like city core builds, like, you know, I tend to keep them a bit more matching, but especially for anything that's got like a more natural kind of look to it, I definitely try and keep them quite mixed up. So I did end up having a look to see what it would look like without the artisanal bug crate, and I kind of rearranged the chairs. I really wish we could have something like when you design inside your house, like if we could have that outside rather than having to like manually run around. I mean, I get it, I do, but I mean, it would be so useful. Like, anyway, so I'm having a look at where else I could maybe put this to make it look good. And then I'm just going to add in another table with some fruit on top. Again, just to keep it reasonably colourful, and I like using a lot of different tables to add different heights and textures into the build as well. So now I will go ahead and show you guys some photos of this one. This one was quite simple, there isn't a lot in it, but I quite liked it, and it just made me think of like Dobie and maybe Beau just kind of lazing around all day, because whenever I see Dobie, he's quite often sat with Beau. They never sit where I want them to sit. I have these two chairs laid out perfectly that I always want them to sit in, and they never do, but I do see them sat together quite a lot, and they always just look like a little like lazy old couple, and I love them loads. So unfortunately for this design, I actually lost the first few minutes of the footage where I mapped out the stone path and put in the fencing and stuff. So as you can see, I've put some flowers at the very back, and then I've used the Zen fencing and the hedges, and then the bonsai table over here, and then the iron garden furniture over to the left. So I am sorry about that. I have no idea what happened, but you know, we'll carry on from here, and thankfully didn't lose too much. So I'm just gonna round this off like when I used the stone path for a villager garden, add in some utility poles, because I wanted this one to be a bit more modern and a bit more kind of city core-esque. And obviously this would look a lot more city core if it was placed on a city core island. Obviously my island is not city core at all, but I hope you can see the general sort of gist of it. And I kind of, whenever I do sort of city core ideas for sort of like warmer villages or villages that you maybe wouldn't expect to see in a city, like a deer, I tend to kind of think about it more like slightly rural city or kind of like old city, like an old town. So you know, maybe it wouldn't fit, but you know, you could maybe take some of the elements into your design. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going with these pathways to break up this area at the front. And then I replaced the statues with a fountain because I thought it would look a bit better and then it wouldn't block the chair so much. So I went in and had a look at adding a statue on this side. And then just extended the pathway over here a little bit so I could add in a robust statue on this side, just to tie it in a little bit and kind of see what it would look like. And I went in with the brown foam box to suit the color scheme, and a bench in a similar color scheme over here. And then I just kind of tried to extend this path a little bit over here and take it back so it would tie in with the rest of the pathways on my island. So obviously you would do this in whichever way would suit you. And then I'm just going to use some dirt on either side and adding some broken up hedging and plant some flowers in the gaps. So I was quite pleased with this one, and it's got that, I imagine it sort of like, it reminded me a bit of when I was in Italy, and just like some of the streets you would walk down where it would just be quite warm coloured paths and a lot of like really nice hedges, and there was just like beautiful like statues like in a lot of places. So I am not saying this is I guess it is a little bit, but like I just wanted it to look like quite a warm city, and it may be quite a wealthy area where you've got quite big areas outside the houses and stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys like this one, and I will let you enjoy the aesthetic photos of it. So this was the last of my designs for Beau. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope if you have Beau and you're looking for some inspo that this video has helped you in at least some way. So if you guys want to see more like this or have a specific villager you'd really like to see, let me know in the comments, because like my last one and the one before that, this one was also a request in the comments. So I'm quite happy to do those, so just let me know which ones you'd like to see, and thank you very much for watching. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video, guys. Bye!